Hey, good morning or afternoon, whatever it may be where you are. Here with me is Jeff Komiskey. Term insurance, week 13 of 50. I call it the fifth permanent option. I don't know if everybody gets that analogy, but we used to talk about the fifth dividend option, which was adding term insurance to par. You'd use the dividends to pay for 1 year term. So I thought it was a very cool way to think about term as being the fifth permanent option. Um, we do this every week. Jeff will comment as I go through this stuff. We only got 5 minutes because we don't want to bore everybody, but we got a perspective that challenges how we typically present term insurance to clients. And I'm going to show you how term can function as more than just temporary coverage and, five critical aspects. But let's just get into it. Okay, Jeff? The fifth permanent option. The industry typically presents four categories of permanent. We have term to 100 and non-par and UL and par. This is the fifth one. And this is how I looked at it. I don't know if you want to comment on this, but I go through the products. And if you look at all five potentially, I included term, permanent products, I give categories to them. And in our model, we talk about convertible term being cash-like, which is sort of like it's highly liquid, it's flexible, you can convert it or just take the cash back. You don't have to turn it into permanent, which, can be expensive. And then I look at term to 100 as the bond like. That one has changed. So now we're saying, hey, the price has gone way up. And instead of being a B plus like all the other options, because I think the industry has done a pretty good job of providing fair options across the board, I would just stay away from term to 100. I give it a C plus rather than a B plus. And then we got non-par, bond-like. These are other sessions we've had recently. And then we got par whole life, which is equity-like, more like a common stock investment. And then finally, YRTUL is also bond-like. The math is what we turn to a lot. And the second point of mathematical advantage of term is term now convert later. What does the math look like? And I did these numbers. I don't know, Jeff, what do you think? Male age 30. And we sort of
Right.
look at term now versus 20 pay permanent. And we look at the returns at life expectancy, and that's the kind of return you're looking at. So you've given up some return, right? But you had the advantage of being able to decide later if you wanted to put more into permanent, because when we diversify, we do some of each.
So how many years later were you converting this example?
Oh, good question. I
10
think it
years,
was,
I think. Is that
I
would
think,
be 10
yeah,
years or
yeah,
something? So
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
do a
yeah.
10, it would be like do a term 10 and then convert in 10 years.
Yeah, I could do 20, 30 years. One thing I thought was interesting about it, because we can measure it. Whoever wants to see the numbers, here are the numbers. But notice here at the bottom what I put: future cost of permanent insurance is equal to today's cost at future date. Like
Hmm.
that's what I used. So do we think prices of insurance in the future for permanent insurance will be higher or lower? And I've been doing a lot of research on that. And I think some of the things we talk about, like when we get into lapses and things, which is a big part of pricing, we think as people hold on to their policies longer, it could have a detrimental, it will have a detrimental effect on prices. So I guess there's two sides to that coin, right? We don't know for sure, but the one side says, hey, get it now. If you want some permanent, get some permanent now. The other side is we don't know, right?
Yeah, I mean the great thing about term is you have the option to convert without proving health. But as I always say, if you're going to buy a strategy that's permanent, I can never make you as young and healthy as you are today.
Good point. Good point.
But we don't have to worry about the health in this case, right?
Well,
But I
it's
still can't
crazy.
make you as young.
Yeah, and it's crazy. When you look at term as part of that diversified part that we say, what's our term? Well, hey, it's what do we say about term? It's free. It's so inexpensive. It has no investment component. It's just people are living longer and they're certainly not dying over the short term because medicine's doing a hell of a job of keeping people alive. It's all
Yeah.
risk, it's all reward, it's all. So what does convertible mean, which gets us into the next layer, right? And we say, hey, read the policy contract, whatever it says, read it very carefully. I picked one out for you here. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not trying to say the companies are doing something bad, but you do get to read it. And one of the contracts I pulled out, and you can make your own judgment about it. It says, with respect to conversion, we determine the type and the terms and conditions. We tell clients, whatever they're currently charging. That's not what the contract says. I don't know. I
they
mean,
they may honor that, but it's not. guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed, and for good reason, which we talk about in other sessions. So that's a fair thing. So my question becomes, how do you optimize today? You got term, you got other products, and we went through this morning. We were talking, but I just love this story. I mean, mind-boggling, maybe. It proves what we're talking about, doesn't it? And I'll go through it quickly. The optimal insurance portfolio, to optimize, you need to diversify. And if you look at this, we were looking at a situation where the accountant recommended term to 100, as they all do, and the prices have gone way up. Nobody's talking about that. So the price would have been $46,000 for 15 years for this 30-year-old to get $3 million of permanent insurance. And then when we step back, we say, no, there's a better approach, right? That product has gone really high in price. We should tell people about that. And we can construct the same thing. And the cost we do it for by doing two components is 34 instead of 45. I mean, isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. And then when we look at the results, we say, oh, by the way, instead of paying 46, you're paying 34, and you got double the insurance later on at life expectancy. But that's the part that we keep talking about. Comment on this, Jeff.
Well, someone would say, yeah, great, you have more in the long run, but what if I die prematurely? Obviously, 3 million, and here we got 2 million. So our simple solution was buy some term, 10, 20, whatever makes sense to fill in that gap in the event that you have a premature death. And $1 million of term insurance is probably $500 a year.
$500 a year to get all the benefits.
To get back to that 3 million, and then even, for 20 years, probably, $600. So even years 10 through 20, you're actually almost going to be $1 million of insurance ahead. And way less price.
And way less price. So if you're gonna be interested in this, we got a session in a few weeks that's managed term and how it fits in and how you diversify term itself. So there's better solutions. We're just trying to work with clients to figure out how to do it the best way possible. This is my favorite number, because if it's corporate, you want to get rid of the cash for a whole bunch of technical reasons. Again, structuring it for the specific client needs is important. Now, what I do is I do term rankings. Mm-hmm. And here are my term rankings. And I say, hey, here's how I rank it. If another advisor is showing you what he or she chooses, hey, just show me yours. But you know how this works, right? We got Desjardins. The interesting thing about this model, though, is we put in writing how we came up with these rankings. And when we look at this, and because of the importance of the value of your term policy based on if it's convertible, that became 50% of our weightings. And then we read the contract and we say, Desjardins, and they have the best wording. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if I can specifically. They say the premium for the new coverage calculated based on the then current rates of the company. Hello. I don't know if that's good enough.
Anything they present, I think if you really read it, it says anything they're offering on their shelf to a new client you can have.
So we're trying.
That's an ideal solution.
So that's the top of our list. And then they got this other option that blows me away, which is the contractual conversion to joint last to die. So if you have a single life term and you change it to joint last to die, you're following the tax play. But Canada Life, for example, ended up being here because they said this in their contract. Now, it's not great words, but in their contract, I fell in love with, they got a very flexible new product and they got conversions to par in the short term. But what they had in their contract is the words, how much you pay. It's like all the other companies were trying to hide how much it's going to cost when you convert. They put it right there. So we might not like what they say, but they're willing to say it. So again, my rankings say I put a lot of weight on companies that are going to be straightforward and provide the information so I understand it. What do you think? Is that crazy that I would like them because they're honest?
No, I think it's fair. You show what you believe, and obviously, other agents and even clients can rank things a little differently. I love your notable features, and sometimes that can really sway the difference. So let's just say you really were family first or something, or it was a big thing to be philanthropic. Sometimes foresters might pop up for that specific client or that circumstance. And I like the Empire one because if you're buying the right term, it actually does convert to a T100 at a guaranteed rate, which is fair if you look at, if you just do Life Guide at that time. It's nice to know that that's an option without even thinking about it. So there's lots of scenarios where those weightings could, you might say, hey, this extra feature in this case, because you're 60 and you got a term 20, that T100 feature is really nice. And we can even review that versus what a permanent cost is today and talk about that example where you did the convert today or convert later. You can use that exact example. So there's situations where maybe that extra feature might pop for a specific client, and obviously we just note it, and that's the best part of our disclosure is like it's shared and we discussed it and the client made a conscious decision on what was best.
Look at the top. What's the date?
Yeah, March, April. It's a year ago we talked
A
about
year
this.
ago. It's time to update. So come on.
Correct.
In a
Fair.
few
Yeah.
weeks, we'll be updating it, right? I might
Yeah.
change my mind, but show me yours. Like, what is somebody else saying? Why? And you can't say you're picking this company for term because well, you can. You can't say because I like their underwriter, right? Or my sister-in-law's brother used to work there.
I guess, is that the customer first?
Is that the customer? So thank you. We're done. We went through the whole thing. I think we went way over our 5 minutes, but I hope it helps somebody, right? And then we'll get with the group and we'll talk. So thanks again. I think we're doing better this way, right? Help the group.
I love it.
I love it too. Thank you. Goodbye. I'm going to turn it off now. And I don't think I got our faces this time, but we'll keep figuring it out.